So a proper good afternoon, everyone. I am Muskan Sangwan, and I'm a threat intelligence analyst here at StealthMole. Thank you for joining us today. So today I'll be walking you all through a real-world investigation focusing on the BadBox 2.0 botnet using our platform. So before we move on to the live demo, let me quickly give you all a short background on what we are going to look at today. So instead of talking about the infrastructure analysis or malware analysis, we will be looking at something different. We are going to talk about the identity exposure behind the BadBox ecosystem. So before we jump in, I think we need to simplify two terms. I know some of you might have some questions like, what is a bad box? What's a botnet? So let's take a look at these terms first. So a botnet is a network of infected devices which are remotely controlled by someone else. These devices could be anything from your mobile phones to your laptops to your Android TV boxes. And users of these devices normally don't even know that they are part of this network. And these infected devices are then used for fraud like traffic routing, attacks, monetization, etc. On the other hand, BadBox is actually a botnet embedded in low-cost Android TV boxes. Instead of targeting these Android devices later on, with malware, these devices come preloaded with malicious functionality. So when consumers plug in these devices at home, they unknowingly connect themselves to a botnet infrastructure. And that's where the Krabs investigation comes in. So Krabs on Security last month in January 2026 released a report on who operates the BadBox 2.0 botnet. According to that report, administrators behind another botnet named Kim Wolf claim to have compromised BadBox's internal administrative control panel. And as a proof of that compromise, they actually released a screenshot. Now, the screenshot is really important. I tried to fit it in the slides, but it's still not clear. So I would like to ask Jacob to share the link to our report so everyone can take a look at this. So this screenshot is really important because it not only contains the username of people behind the BadBox botnet, but also email identifiers. And this has changed the whole conversation because when we talk about botnets, we talk about infrastructure, we talk about malware devices, etc. But now we have real life human facing artifacts which can actually lead us to something live, something human, and that has changed the whole conversation relating to a botnet. So and these identifiers are now public, and that's where our angle comes in because we are not reattributing the botnet. I think Krabs has done a great job on that. We are asking a different question. So if we just take one of these artifacts, how far we can trace it back using StealthMole. And that's what we are going to look at today. So for this investigation, I have already selected one of the identifiers, which I have mentioned in the slides, as you can see, and we are going to use it to build upon it and see how far we can trace it using our platform. Before we move on to the live demo, let me quickly give you all a short disclaimer. So the profiling insights presented in this session are derived from open source intelligence, and due to the complex nature of cyber operations, attribution cannot be fully guaranteed or verified. This session does not intend to attribute or unmask any specific individual or group, and the primary objective is to introduce and demonstrate a new methodology for behavioral profiling of threat actors within a cybersecurity context. So this is what our platform looks like after the user login page. It is super simple to create a case. So if you just click on create new case, it will take you to our canvas. And this is what our canvas looks like. This is our search bar. It is as simple to use as a Google search bar, so you can type and search whatever you want. This is the set of different tools that our platform provides to assist you in your investigation. So for this investigation, as I've already mentioned, that we have selected an artifact, which is an email address. So we are going to select email and we are just going to paste it here and run it through our dark web tracker. This is our dark web tracker. Now our system will run this particular email artifact through the dark web to see where it has been mentioned and in what context. So as you can see, it's already running. We have the Crabson security domain, the URL. This is because I have already mentioned we not only monitor the deep dark web, but also deep web. So if you want to read any intelligence reports from different companies, you can also find that on our platform. But our main focus for this investigation is the raw data, which can actually lead us to something substantial. So in this case, we have 8 leaked files, and our system also provides you a bit of a preview of that document, so you know in what context this particular email has been mentioned. Like in this case, they have literally mentioned that it's an email address and it's associated to a particular phone number. There's the QQID and more. Similarly, there's hash and more. So what we are going to do is we are going to add this. Let's add all of them for the first. So let's add all of them to our canvas. Now, what's interesting is that if you try to search everything manually, like all these 8 documents, it would take you a lot of time. And even if you want to use ChatGPT or Gemini, you would have to download them and then upload these to other AI systems but we have something much better. So we have an inbuilt AI system. So instead of going to other platforms like ChatGPT or Gemini to process anything, we have our inbuilt AI, which is known as small chat. So what you have to do is you just select the files that you are interested in, like these, and you can click and take it to Mole Chat, and Mole Chat will answer you any questions that you are interested in. So for this, we are interested in this email. So let's copy it while the Mole Chat is processing. Okay, as you can see, we already have the 8 files listed, which we have added to our canvas. So our AI will only go through these files to get the data associated with that email artifact. So what we are going to do is we are just going to give it a simple question. Give me all details related to this email. Yeah. As you can see, within seconds, you have all the data listed. And not only that, our AI will also link the files from where this data has been collected from. So let me show you what we have here. So the first is actually a data set where the email address is linked to a particular phone number that we have seen in the preview. There's also the timestamp. It's from 2023. There's a QQID. The QQID is actually associated with the email address, so that's nothing different. Apart from that, this email also appears as a contact email for multiple company contact info records. So first one is Beijing-based technology company. We have the company phone number, website, and everything else. And this is the email, the same email which we have been tracking. The second company is again a Beijing-based science and technology company. So nothing different. So, but it also establishes that the person we are trying to track has some linkages in China. If this particular email address has repeatedly been mentioned in Beijing-related science and tech companies. The third file actually has a hash. So if you are interested in running it further, you can just select the artifact type and run it in our dark web tracker or any other tools to see where it leads you. The fourth one is actually more interesting. We have a proper username, DaiHiC. We have a credential-like field where we have some hash, and there is also an IP address. And the last one is actually an email password combo. So the same email and a password. So out of all these, I think we have three really important artifacts that we have found. The first is the phone number. Second is the username. And the third one is the password. So first take a look at the phone number. So similarly as the email, we are just going to select the phone number and run it in our system. So you will see all the results related to the phone number. As you can see, we have 29 leaked files. So let's take a look at them and see if there's anything else we can find. So this is the file we already have on our canvas. That's why you can see the index on the type. There's more documents related to JD. So I would like to mention that JD is actually an e-commerce retailer company in China. It's really popular. So it seems like this particular phone number has been mentioned in their leaked data set. So it is found associated with an email address, and there's also a name. This one is just a repetition, so let's skip that one. Some more data in Chinese. So let's add quite a few of them to see what else we can find. Okay, I think that's enough. But before we look into the mobile number and the leaked files that we have found, I think we should go back and take a look at the password, so we don't have to come back to this. So there are two ways with which you can investigate a password. So in this case, the first one is just a simple keyword search. So you don't select any type, you just run it as a keyword, and it will take you to the leaked files or any websites where it has been mentioned. So in this case, this is the original file where we have found it. It is related to the email address that we have already seen. So we don't have to add it. I can easily add it, but it will, get a bit more complicated on the canvas. So for the sake of clarity, I am not going to add it. We are just going to focus on the new files that we have seen. So there's a new Gmail address, but this address actually has the same username that we have seen. So let's add this one. This is the same one, so we can skip it. Again, cat head. So this is the second time we are seeing the cat head Gmail address and username. And this is a different one, so let's add this one as well. The last one looks like a hash, so we can add it. The second way with which you can investigate it is through our compromise credential tools. So we have 4 different tools: compromise dataset, combo binder, credential lookout, and ULP binder. So you can test if a particular email, domain, or password has been leaked. So you can use these tools to investigate that. For this case, we have password. So what we are going to do is we are going to select the password and run it in our combo binder to see if there are any leaked credentials related to it. As you can see, we have 7 results. The latest one is from 2024 September, and the oldest one is from 2022 July. So this is the same email that we have already seen. Cat had as well. Rest are just same, so we don't have to add them. Now let's run it through our credential lookout as well to see what else we can find. So cat had again DIHC, so there's nothing else, but you can see the results there are 24 results. And in credential lookout, you can actually even see from where it has been leaked. And if there are more results, you can even sort them by domain, email, or whatever you want. So for this case, we have the 2 different email addresses that we have already seen, and we know that this password has been leaked over the years. So now let's run this in Dark Web Tracker to see where else it appears. Okay, there's an email address, the domain. So we have, again, 4 different leaked files, but it seems like they only have the leaked password, so nothing new, so we don't have to add it. Maybe you can add one of them and just label it so you don't have to come back to it. The 4 leaked files, okay. And if you want to test it in our compromise credential tool, so you can just run it in combo binder, credential lookout. As you can see, there are 5 different results from 2022 to 2024. So if you want to add, you can add. Otherwise, these are just the repetition, so it's better not to add it. Now let's take a look at this one. This is the one that we have seen associated with the email address that we started our investigation with. So, okay, there's a Twitter account. Now let's take a look. So let's add it to our canvas. The name is cathead. The username, the ID is Kaibi's cathead. It was created in 2014. The email address that we have already seen associated with the email. So here it is. And so this is interesting. But one thing I would like to mention that this account is actually down. I have tried to check it manually. It's already down, but as you can see, our historical indexing feature records all the data. Even if a user takes an account down or deactivates anything, we can still link it back to the original user, to the original email. And that's how it helps in furthering your investigations. So in terms of leaked files, we have 28 leaked files. The same name has been repeated here. It was also mentioned in the JD database, so you can just add them. Rest looks like a repetition of the stuff, different email addresses. So maybe you can just again label it as 28 leaked files. Okay, now let's take a look at this Twitter account to see if there's anything of value we can find. Okay, there are 3 different emailer. Okay, these are same, just different formats, so I don't think it's worth adding, but for now, let's add it. Now take a look at this email address in our compromise credential tools. Okay, there are 72 results. The first one is the same password that we have seen, but then there are different passwords from cathead to 1942 and many more. You can even sort it and go to the oldest first. And there you go. So the first one that was leaked was from 2008 July. It was leaked from myspace.com. And then over the years, it has been leaked 72 times. So you can just add this one to the canvas and maybe you can write 2008 password. So as you can see, with just the passwords, we have identified 2 email addresses, their Twitter account, their leaked passwords, and more. And from now, let's take a look at these files. Okay, now let's copy the password and run this file in our mole chat feature. Okay, there may be some issue. Okay, let's run it again. Yeah. So as we have, while taking a look at the preview of the files that we have added in relation to the password, we have seen multiple email addresses popping up. So let's take a look at these files and see if we find anything else. It's still taking a bit of time, so let's run this in Dark Web Tracker for now. Okay, we have a total of 7 files, and we already have added cathead. We have not seen this particular email yet. Okay. Now I think it's processing fine. So let's wait for a second. Okay, they have listed some of the email addresses that we have already seen in Dark Web Tracker. So we have already listed the cathead one and TiHiC. As you can see, the files from where these have been collected. So this is the only one which we have not seen. So let's run it manually and see if there's anything that we can find. This is the email address we have. It was also mentioned in one of the leak files. Okay, this is the one we already have on Canvas, so I don't think there's anything else related to this particular email on the dark web. So it's possible that he might not be using it actively, or maybe it's an old email which has been dormant for years. So that's why there's nothing associated with it. So no leaked data, nothing in, I think, in the ULP binder. Let's take a look. So far, we have a phone number, a password, 3 different email addresses, their Twitter account, and a lot of leaked credentials. So I think we are going in the right direction. So let's move on. I don't think there's anything associated with that Gmail. So now let's take a look at the files that we found in relation to the phone number. But first, we are going to copy the phone number because we would be asking MoleChat to give us everything related to the phone number. In the meantime, let's run it again in Dark Web Tracker. There could be a lot of information that we can find because there's something in Chinese. You can even translate in our AI system, so you don't even have to go or switch to another translation tools for that. As you can see, there's again cat head, but the domain is different from what we have seen. So maybe we can find something important. So we have a total of 7 files listed this time. So give me all details related to this and also add English translation for Chinese. Let's wait. Okay. As you can see, it only takes a few seconds. Otherwise, if you start doing manually 29 leaked files or leaked files for like, there's a lot of data to process. So for first one, we have the phone number associated with a Chinese name, and this name is Chan Dai Hai. So if you look at the administrative control panel, the username associated with that email address was Chen. So this is the right direction we are heading to. The username for this database is actually cathead. Again, what we have seen using repeatedly, the email address is cathead@gmail. So now we have the name of the person, phone number, his email addresses, his Twitter accounts, and leaked passwords. Second, the name is again Dai Hai, Mr. Chen, and yes. So let's ask if there's anything else we can find on Cathead. Related to Cathead, because this is the username that we have been seeing a lot. So sometimes it's possible that there may be some information associated with the username that might not be associated with the real name. So let's take a look. Okay, so from the JD set, we have the name, again, the same username, hash, and the email address. So that's is something that we have already seen, but from the Dang user data set, we have an email address, and it belongs to astrolink.cn, again, a China-based company. And we have the exact work address, room 801 in Beijing. This is interesting. Apart from that, we have 2 different phone numbers. So not only we know the real personal artifacts associated with this threat actor, but also his work address and work email. So now let's take a look at this work email and see if there's anything that we can find. So for this, we are going to again run it in Dark Web Tracker, and let's take a look. Okay, there are only 7 leaked files. First one is already added, so you can even connect it to that. This is the one we are talking about, and rest is just email addresses associated. This is just a random, there's no other artifact associated with it, so no point in adding those. Let's also run it through compromised credential tools. Okay, there's no data, and combo binder. No data again. So it's clear that this particular email address is not leaked in anywhere apart from one data user set, and we don't even have any leaked password associated with it. So we just only have the email address, but it's confirmed that Chandai Hai actually is associated with Astrolink. If you want to search further with the domain, what you can do is you can just copy and run the domain to see if there are other users who are actively involved in similar type of work. Let's run it through Dark Web Tracker and see if there's any more leaked data associated with this particular domain. Okay, there are some files. These are again security reports. Okay, we also have some raw data. So these are the leaked files This is the one from where we got the cat head astrolink, but there are more like use J astrolink. Again, we have Xavier. Now, Xavier is really interesting because Xavier is something that we have seen in the administrative control panel. So this is just a repetition of that. And it also shows how everything is linked, even though these threat actors try to, perform or operate individually, but they are interlinked because a lot of data has been leaked from the astrolink domain. So this is everything. Just from the artifact, we have found their leaked data, phone number, their work email, passwords, personal emails. As you can see, there's a lot of data, but given the time, I could not show you the rest of the case that I've investigated. But if you're interested, please go to our intelligence hub and read the report on this particular Chandai High case, and also the next one, which is related to the BadBox, but it's associated with Xavier Zoo, the one that I have just showed you all. So lastly, I just want to quickly show you guys our Canvas AI report system. So what you can do is, for whatever investigation we have done on the Canvas, you can automatically generate a report based on that. So if you just click on the Canvas AI report and generate report, it will generate an automated AI report for you, so you don't have to go back and manually do anything. And one of the most important thing I would like to mention here, if you are doing something like this, it's better if you added these labels so our AI system can, properly index those things. So let's wait for a few seconds while it's okay. We have it. So as you can see, it will not also give you an overview, the email file correlation, like cat had appears in multiple leak modules, phone number based, credential reuse, and we even have a table for primary and credential summary. Like this password, 4 leaked files, we have not specified it, and historical 2008. This one, 8 leaked files, 7 leaked files. So that's how we do it.